Live from News 7 KWWL, we've got you covered. This is KWWL News at 10.
Thank you for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Emily Moss. New tonight, one person has just minor injuries after they collided with a train earlier this afternoon. The Marmac police chief reports it happened around 2:14 this afternoon at the Riverway Railroad crossing. Investigators say the driver of the Chevy Silverado did not stop at the rail tracks and was struck by the train. Miraculously, the driver has just minor injuries. We spoke to one witness of the crash who said he first heard the bang of the collision.
I heard it more than I saw it. You heard kind of a bang, and then out of the corner of my eye, I caught the vehicle kind of like flip up on its side, being dragged by the train.
The train was operating at a slower speed due to Memorial Day events in the area.
Well, as we reported just last week, Google is teaming up with NextEra to restart the nuclear power plant near Folo as it looks to build yet another data center there. Iowa now ranks second in the Midwest for the most data centers in the state. Tonight, KWWL's Elizabeth Kling is taking a closer look at how they are impacting our landscape.
It's no secret Iowa's wide open spaces offer fertile ground. And not just for growing crops.
So there is interest in building a data center campus in Linn County. I expect that to continue. I expect us to get more interest than just one data center campus.
Linn County is just the latest spot tech companies are looking to expand with data centers that keep getting bigger, as the Director of Planning and Development explained at a recent meeting on the issue.
Data centers are now hyperscalers, and they are hundreds of acres. They are multiple buildings.
These data centers are the result of the growing popularity of cloud storage and artificial intelligence. Whether it's ChatGPT or Google's Gemini, it's a trend that has some Iowans deeply concerned, including former Cedar Falls City Councilman Dr. Kamyar and Cheyenne.
You don't really need a book. It can just be online. You don't need this. It's just all online. And well, it turns out that there is an actual physical cost and physical reality to that.
He says that physical reality is presenting communities with a variety of challenges.
I think city planners are trying to wrap their head around these enterprises.
According to the tracking site datacentermap.com, Iowa has at least 104 data centers so far. Most are located in central Iowa. That includes Meta's sprawling campus here in Altoona. It spans more than 500 acres and 10 buildings. It's among the biggest in the country and a taste of what's to come in eastern Iowa. In Cedar Rapids, Google is building a data center on 400 acres, and one from QTS will cover more than 600 acres. But it's not just about space.
Power demand in the U.S. has been flat for decades and decades. This has changed recently, really in the past 5 years, as these larger data centers have begun to be constructed across the U.S.
He says currently 18% of power used in Iowa is being used by data centers. And the computers using that power are also generating heat. Cooling them often requires more power or large amounts of water. Google's data center in Council Bluffs, Iowa, used more than 980 million gallons in 2023 alone.
It consumes about the same amount of water as 9.4 golf courses over the course of a year.
In an effort to make up for the impact, data centers are touting a variety of conservation initiatives. Meta says it captures rainwater in Altoona and recycles water used for cooling multiple times. QTS says its Cedar Rapids data center will use water-free cooling. But Google says that often requires more power, so it now considers water availability at each site. Linn County says Google is currently conducting a water impact study there ahead of another new center, as it also plans to tap into energy from the Duane Arnold nuclear facility.
That project will support the growing need for power across our region.
Supervisor Brandy Myshide says while she welcomes the additional power, large data centers are new territory for rural Linn County.
We truly are trying to learn as much as we can, as quickly as we can, and finding the balance between the economic side of things as well as our natural resources.
Because while each new data center offers millions in potential economic development, The question remains, is Iowa's landscape still footing the bill? Elizabeth Kling, News 7, KWWL.
American Ninja Warrior has returned to NBC and KWWL for its 17th season. As the season progresses, you'll be seeing some Eastern Iowa ninjas competing. We caught up with a few of those local ninjas, including Ben and Jason Behrens, the sons of Ninja U Cedar Falls coach Scott Behrens. Ben has been a Vegas finalist the last 2 years and is making his 4th overall appearance this season, while Jason is making his first appearance in the competition. They'll be joined in the competition by Peyton Coffin, who lives in Cedar Rapids and trains in Cedar Falls and is making her first appearance on the show as well.
It is so fun being able to be there with my brother because, you know, now that I've been here for my 4th season, I'm a lot more confident in what I do and I know how these things work, so I can help him through that, and it's just so much fun doing it together.
It feels great to compete against the other older ninjas now that I've grown up. I grew up watching these ninjas on American Ninja Warrior and growing up with my brother training, and now we're both competing alongside all the other great ninjas that we've watched our whole youth.
I watched it as a kid growing up, and I've been doing sports since I was young, gymnastics, softball, running track in college. Once I got done with that, I really wanted to get back into something competitive, and once I moved to Cedar Rapids, I realized they had a gym there, and they also had a gym up here, so I just started coming, and I fell in love with it right away.
There's also a 4th Eastern Iowan competing this year, Nick Hansen, who couldn't be there today as he's also a rugby player and is currently competing in that sport. Peyton, Jason, and Nick's runs will all air next Monday, June 16th.
Big one in D3 football. Undefeated Wartburg hosting undefeated Central. This one's likely to decide the American Rivers title. Wartburg took control early. A big day for Dawson Rudd. Punches in the opening score from the 2-yard line, and that was just the start. From the 45, a great move at the line of scrimmage, and that springs him. 2nd touchdown of the day from the junior from Wisconsin. 14-0, and they were not done. 2nd quarter, Leo Dodd, and check out this from Justin Bachman. Spins out of the tackle. His name's Justice, not Justin. Bachman goes 15 yards for the score. All Knights up 21-0 at half, but Central, they made this game after 2 field goals and an onside recovery. Jace Grunder takes the pitch, makes it a 1-score game in the 3rd, down 21-13. But Wartburg finished this one, and you know who got it done. Rudd, with his first career 3-touchdown game, he finished with 101 yards. The Knights win 28-13, and barring any massive upsets in the next 2 weeks, they look destined for another conference title.
From News 7 KWWL, this is breaking news.
And that breaking news just in the last 15 minutes out of Coralville. The Coralville Fire Department says that 12 people were rescued from an apartment complex this afternoon. Crews responded to the fire along Boston Way around 4 o'clock, and you can see the building has heavy damage from the flames and smoke. Amazingly, though, nobody was injured. However, sadly, several pets did not make it out and died in the fire. 22 people in all are displaced tonight and getting help from the United Way and the Red Cross. One person we spoke with on the scene described what they saw as firefighters tried to put out the flames.
Basically, it was just a big engulf flame. This is probably something that will hopefully only be seen once in a lifetime. It was really, really big.
Well, damage to the building is estimated right now at $1 million, and Coralville firefighters remain on the scene tonight investigating just what may have caused the fire, but so far they say it was likely accidental.
Well, back to school season is in full swing. Today at the Waterloo Convention Center, dozens of local and community partners came together to make sure kids head back to school with some confidence.
The 3rd annual Books and Looks event brought together 40 stylists, braiders, and locticians, offering free haircuts and hairstyles to children as they get ready for the new school year. But this event went far beyond fresh looks. Families also receive shoes, clothes, school supplies, and books, all free of charge. Organizers say it's about more than just appearances.
The main goal of Books and Looks is to send our kids back to school with confidence. Too often they go to school and they're worrying about what they look like, what they have on, but with this event we take care of that for them so they can just go to school and focus on the books.
Several local organizations joined in to support families, including Greenwood Pharmacy, Shift, and Cedar Valley Thrift and Outreach. Together, they provided essential resources to make sure students feel prepared inside and out.
One thing I enjoy most about this event is seeing the kids after they get the hairstyle. They're smiling, they're happy, their eyes are lit up, and it's just a beautiful sight to see. I love it. This event is perfect to get them excited for school because all we do and all our stylists do is instill confidence in our kids.
Organizers say they plan to keep the tradition going, helping families start each school year with not only the supplies they need, but also the confidence to succeed.
Students in both Cedar Falls and Waterloo school districts start heading back to class on August 25th. The team behind today's event says they are already looking ahead to next year and are hoping to reach even more families across the Cedar Valley.
A follow-up now to a story we first brought you in 2022 about a cancer cluster investigation in Hudson. It found no unusual cancer rates among school staff there. Now another study focused on the neighborhood near the school is providing more clues but few clear answers.
Retired teacher Diane Anderson requested the cancer cluster investigation among Hudson school staff after her own battle with cancer, along with nearly a dozen other teachers.
Making people aware, to be vigilant, to get screened, to talk to other people, be advocates.
Although no significant issues were found, her concern continues, turning now to the neighborhood surrounding the school.
This is possible for anyone who's concerned about a workplace. A neighborhood seems to have a high number of cancer cases, and they don't have to all be one specific cancer. They can look at all kinds of things.
She asked the Iowa Cancer Registry to take a look at the area between 1st and 5th Streets from Cedar to Washington, where she knew of a number of others who had battled cancer through the years, including Danielle McCulley's mother, who passed away from colon cancer.
I think what she has done in leading this is great because it's always important to be aware of your surroundings. It also prompts people to, hey, we need to eat better. We need to be on top of our screenings.
The Iowa Cancer Registry agreed to the request, analyzing cancer reports and data from that neighborhood. The results this spring ultimately didn't show more cancer overall there. But among the cancer cases that did occur, breast cancer was slightly more common, dating back to 2013, as well as thyroid cancer dating back to 2003.
It doesn't necessarily mean that there is a cluster. It doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a cluster. I think one of the things that can be a little bit frustrating in these analyses is that it's hard to prove definitively whether or not a cluster does exist.
Dr. Sarah Nash says for now they'll continue to monitor the neighborhood and collect more data.
We know it's a concern of the community, and so we'll make sure that we're doing follow-up analyses every year.
In the meantime, McCulley hopes to see studies like this expand.
In my neighborhood, which is across town here in Hudson, every house on my specific street has been touched by cancer in one way or another.
And she knows Hudson isn't alone as communities across the state continue to search for answers as to why Iowa ranks second in the nation for the most new cancer cases.
I want her to keep, pushing for this and doing more of these cluster studies with the University of Iowa, extending out, looking at other communities and, finding, what we can.
Today, the Dunkerton community came together to support Ledger Dalton, a Dunkerton junior who was recently diagnosed with leukemia. David Warrington has more.
The great turnout today at Dunkerton Community Hall as the community came together to help raise money as Ledger Dalton battles cancer. Dunkerton firefighter Bob Steffen has known the Dalton family for years, and both of Ledger's parents formerly were members of the Dunkerton Fire and EMS. Steffen knew that they wanted to help.
Felt that our department wanted to give some back and to support his family and Ledger, and we thought this was a good way to do it. We always get a good turnout for our breakfasts.
It's Ledger's second battle with leukemia. He was originally diagnosed when he was 18 months old before going into remission for several years. As Steffen explained, the entire Dunkerton community is supporting Ledger.
Definitely good community support here in Dunkerton. I've seen people from in town, out of town, everyone from the community has been coming through so far.
Ledger is currently looking for a bone marrow donor, and people at today's event were encouraged to learn more about the National Marrow Donor Program. As Stefan explained, the fire department always wants to help out in the community, and it's even more special when the family they're helping are a part of that special group of firefighters.
That's what we're all about, is helping the community, whether they're part of our brotherhood or not. We're there to help, but we're certainly going to do a lot for our brothers and sisters.
In Dunkerton, David Warrington, News 7, KWWL.
People between the age of 18 and 40 are eligible to help donate bone marrow. You can find more information about marrow transplant donation right now on our website.